Seer has been the champion who's been the epitome of nuking down waves in Raid Shadow Legends for the longest time. But now with Marius in the game, and especially a 6-star Marius, Seer has kind of taken a backseat. But that might be about to change because of this new relic which suits very few champions other than her. Which relic is it? Let's jump into it. Hey guys, SMZ here, we're back playing Raid Shadow Legends. And guys, I have been experimenting a lot with my relics recently. I've been trying to take any available relics, putting them on different champions to kind of try to figure out the best use case of different relics in different areas of the game. So much so that I always keep on running out of this resource, Starstone. Plarium, please don't be so stingy with this resource. Please add another way of getting this resource. It's not even available in the shop to purchase, you know. So this is a resource that is very scarce in the game. Yes, we have this 100% gear removal event going, which is great. Thumbs up. Thank you very much for doing so. But maybe it's time that we need this. You know, that's what they do. They create new currencies, then because of which then we would need a free of that thing for a certain amount of time. But yeah, free Starstone or at least free change up of relics would be amazing to have in the game. But let's go away from my tangent here that I've gone on. And let's look at this one relic. There's a free champion that you can get by using the link in my description. That is Narma the Return, a great champion to battle the Demon Lord. And you can get her alongside other crazy good epic champions like Anax, like Uugo, and like Mausoleum Mage as you progress through the game. How to get these champions for free? Here's how to do it. You go into your Plarium Play and log out of your current account. Click the link in the description and register with a brand new email address. Download the game and then play the tutorial, and you will find Narma sitting there chilling in your inbox. And you can get all of these crazy good epic champions as you progress through the game. Do not miss out on this opportunity. Click the link in the description and get these cool champions. And the relic that I'm talking about is a very situational relic which suits very few champions, and Seer is one of those exceptional champions that it works with. I'm talking about this legendary relic, the Collective. So if you read this relic, it sounds great. Wearer deals 1% more damage per buff on them, right? Sounds great. There's also a blessing called Heaven Cast, which kind of does the same thing. I believe it was, yeah, increased damage inflicted according to the number of buffs on them, right? So this blessing does kind of the same thing, and this relic adds on top of that. Now the thing is, Seer works with buffs, right? The more buffs you put on her, the harder she's gonna hit. But there is a caveat to this. The caveat is that it removes all buffs from the wearer at the end of each turn. That's a problem. That's a problem because in longer fights, you do not want this. Your nukers are generally the champions that are the easiest to kill. They're very flimsy, right? So you want those buffs on them. You want the shields, you want the strengthens, you want the increased defenses. But with Seer, regarding how she nukes, is she wants to nuke the entire wave in one go. And she strips up of her buffs anyhow after the attack, meaning that you can take advantage of this ability and not fear the downsides that come with this particular relic. And on top of all of that, this is one of the very few relics which has the first primary stat as crit damage. And crit damage is godly when it comes to any nukers. And Seer is one of the better nukers out there when it comes to waves. Still, she's an epic champion. It's easier to get her to 6-star, for example, even if you purchase her in the market compared to something like a Marius, which is a bit more difficult and a lot more expensive comparatively. So with this relic, and I've even given her this gemstone, she's nuking hard. I used to need a lot of buffs to nuke like hard dungeon waves, and I'm gonna showcase how she does. Actually, before I jump into the run, let me showcase the build as well really quickly. So she's built well. She is built well even without this relic, but it might actually improve some people who are not able to reach those numbers without the relic. This relic will help tremendously. So my Seer is built in just a savage set, and these are her stats. With the thing that you're looking for mostly is the right speed. She needs to be basically the last person on your team. So she's running 260 speed for me, as high of crit damage as you can get, and if you can afford it, accuracy so that she can land her sleep. She's also really good in Faction Wars hard mode and clearing the waves. She's one of the best champions out there, especially on that one mission. I think it's stage 17 in hard mode where you have to avoid landing weak hits. Because she is a void champion, she is really good at that. And she has a chance to proc an extra turn on her A1, which also helps tremendously. She is in 6-star Crushing Rend and Flawless Execution to keep the nukes basically more consistent, and as opposed to something like a Helm Smasher. So that's her build, and I used to use her everywhere. All the dungeons, the Doom Tower, anywhere I could run her, I would. But of course now Marius, because Marius is so good in doing both, which is nuking the waves and nuking the boss, that's why Seer has taken a backseat. So I was testing this out. This is kind of a setup I would run, but I would need one more champion. So previously I would run this. So Mithrala can give me 2 buffs, Lydia can give me 2 buffs, that'll be 4 buffs, and then Seer could nuke, right? Now Seer just needs basically just Lydia, another free champion, and that's enough for Seer to nuke, which is crazy. Let me showcase that to you. I'll put this on 1 speed. So Kaimar is the fastest right now, doesn't matter, I'll just do the A1. So Lydia will go in with her A2, which of course drops defense weaken, but gives 2 buffs each, right? This is just 6 buffs, by the way. I don't even have a full team. If I had a full team, because if you read her kit, it removes the buffs from all allies and enemies, and damage increases according to the number of removed buffs, right? So what that means is that if I had a full team of 5 champions, that would be 10 buffs to rip. This is just 6, and look at this, guys. Boom! With just 6 buffs. Isn't that crazy? So if I just filled a team of 5 people and I had just 1 buff on each, I think she might be still able to nuke. Kaimar can reset and we can do the whole shebang once again. What this also allows is for a lot of you who don't have Marius, who are struggling with clearing the waves, and you have a Seer and your Seer was not able to nuke, or she was able to nuke but you had to bring in 1 additional champion to give her the buffs, and then you would have trouble fighting the boss. Now what you can do is, just with your Lydia and Seer, just 2 champions, you can nuke the waves. The remaining 2 spots can be your dedicated boss killers. So for example, for the dragon, you would get like something like a poisoner who can whittle down the boss's HP. You can even put a very tanky champion in a regen set. High resistance regen build, something like a Mithrala even, and they can solo the boss once you nuke the waves. Which is great with this relic because it allows for that extra damage, which is very, very nice. I mean, of course, it's just the 3-person team. It's not gonna work here because I did not bring in any boss killing mechanics, right? So that's kind of a problem. But this works very, very nicely. I'll also showcase this in Fire Knight Heart 10. Here also the waves are crazy difficult. So let me do the same. Recently used. Boom, boom, boom. Just 6 buffs. Again, Fire Knight is another boss where it's very difficult. I mean, in the Fire Knight, generally, you're not still going to be running this because the boss mechanics are so tricky that you need something more. Like, just 2 additional champions are not going to do it because the Fire Knight needs a lot more champions. And boom. Here, so you notice that my Lydia did a lot of damage as well. So the minions were down a little bit of health, but did you notice the damage numbers? They were around 500k. So even if they were full health, they would have been dead anyhow. So that's kind of what I am getting at over here. So Lydia is dropping the numbers quite a bit, right? Here, for example, he's down by almost 10% health, but it should not matter because look at the damage numbers between 300k to almost 500k, which is crazy, crazy good. Of course, again, here we're just gonna die because here the boss will just outright nuke us to death. Here Seer will not do anything. Let's just watch ourselves die quickly. Extra turn. See, that's also why she's so good. She can proc extra turns on her A1 and she can quickly get back to her A2. If you don't have a Kaimar, of course you can run Renegade. With Renegade, the only one issue is that Renegade resets by 2 turns instead of the full reset. What that means is that Seer will need to take 1 more turn, which can be circumvented if sometimes, again, if you can basically proc an extra turn on her A1, and that's perfectly fine. Also, generally in most wave content, the minions are so slow that if you have your Seer build above, I think 230 to 40 speed, generally she'll be able to go twice, especially if you have an increased speed buff that Lydia gives. You'll be able to go twice before the enemy goes. So you can even start off with the A2 and then nuke the waves. That should also obviously work. I mean, actually, let's try that out. So what I'll do is I'm even gonna hold off. Actually, no, increased speed I would need. So with Seer, I will not do the Karma Burn immediately. I will just do A2. And what I want to showcase is that, see, my Karma also does a lot of damage. I don't even need Seer here. But you notice this? Seer was able to get the 2nd turn already. Even if my Kaimar and Lydia didn't do enough damage, Seer would be able to nuke the waves at this point. Again, my account is way too in game for Seer to be needed on Finite Heart 10, but that actually works. That's what I wanted to showcase. And yeah, I mean that would work basically anywhere in the game, any other dungeons. One other interesting thing I was trying to see if I could one-shot Spider, and I was trying to put up as many buffs as I can. There's one problem though. There's one problem that I forgot about, and that problem is that Seer's hit. I'll showcase that. So we get 2 buffs here, right? Or actually 3 because she has pinpoint. We get another buff here. We get 2 more buffs here, and we will get an additional 2 buffs. That's a lot of buffs, right? I was thinking this would be enough to one-shot the Spider. There's a problem, guys. The problem is this thing right here. The damage is enemy max HP, so it is capped, unfortunately. And yeah, the damage that the minions are gonna die, and the minions damage is gonna affect the Spider, which means that the Spider is gonna be down to half health because of that. But the damage to the Spider itself, and I'll slow it down so maybe we can see, is, let's see, it's hidden. 1.5 mil or something. That's kind of the cap anyhow that we are hitting for the damage on the Spider, so we can't really make that work, unfortunately, over here. The other thing I wanted to check is, okay, it's not working, and just for the fun of it, can we nuke down Spider Heart, Spider normal 20 with this particular setup? Now the trouble over there is that here the max HP cap is not there, but because it's not the hard mode, killing the minions doesn't do any damage to the Spider, right? I can go up the speed again. So let's put on all our buffs. All the buffs, that's 5, and that's 7 times 5, that's 35 buffs. And then there's 1 extra here. So 36 buffs we're ripping off. Not enough. Unfortunately, not enough. But anyways, she's still doing a lot of damage. So this relic, I was then thinking, what other champions can really benefit? So one of the things you can immediately think of is it can also be a very good relic for the arena, of course, because especially for speed farming in the arena, you are trying to hopefully kill them in one shot, and there it doesn't matter if there's survival or not. But in later stages, in the higher echelons of live arena especially, more often than not, you're not one-shotting the waves. You're really not. You will survive. Somebody will survive. Marichka will survive. She will revive the whole team. Something like that will happen. So getting rid of the buffs in that way is not ideal. But for speed farming in the arena, like for example, if you're trying to speed farm the normal arena or tag arena for your daily missions, can be actually quite good on any nuker, because then you also don't get the downside of removing all buffs. But yeah, guys, that's about it. New relic combo that I was experimenting with. Let me know if there is another cool combination like this with this particular relic that I am overlooking at the moment. And let me know in the comments. I would love to hear about it. And yeah, I will be experimenting more with new relics and new relic combinations with certain champions. So thank you very much for watching till the end. Please leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Thank you very much once again, and see you next time.